Okay, we're going to learn Tanya for the first day of Teves, Teves, which is on page 52. And in today's lesson, the advantage of Torah study over all the other mitzvahs, given that there's a twofold unity achieved, and we discussed in yesterday's lesson, the analogy of Torah to food, which nourishes and nurtures one within, and mitzvahs, which are like clothing, which protect and envelop a person from the outside. When you eat something, it nourishes you inside. When you wear clothes, it keeps you warm when it's freezing outside. This is the distinctive, infinitely great and wonderful superiority of the mitzvahs of knowing and comprehending Torah, of the mitzvah of knowing and comprehending. It's interesting. What's more important, a mitzvah or learning Torah? Learning Torah is a mitzvah. It's not like one over the other, but it's just pointing out. I'll call it mitzvahs ma'asiyos, but when it comes to an action mitzvah, Torah is a very, very important mitzvah. It comes above and beyond. Afil al mitzvahs atluyos b'dibur, and even over those mitzvahs which we do through speech. Afil al mitzvahs talmud Torah sheb'dibur. Indeed, even over the mitzvahs of oral Torah study. So the precept of Torah study may be performed by reciting passages of Torah, even if one doesn't understand their meaning. Such study, however, lacks the infinitely superior quality of comprehending Torah. So when we learn, if we just say the words, great. But if we truly understand what we're learning, that's the best way. When we do a mitzvah, which is an action-based mitzvah, let me say that again. Through all the mitzvahs performed in action and speech, Hashem clothes the soul, envelops it with His light from head to foot. When you learn Torah and you understand the Torah, it's being enveloped. It becomes within him. So the mitzvah envelops the person envelops the Torah that he learns. So when a person comprehends and grasps and encompasses whatever Torah knowledge that he's capable of grasping, each man according to his level, according to the understanding in Pardes, which is Pshat, simple meaning, Remez, the deeper meaning, Drush, even deeper inside the foundation of it. So apart from the effect that the Torah shares with the other mitzvahs, that a mitzvah, when performed, envelops the soul in the divine light, Torah study has an additional effect, and it fills the soul internally with the light of divine wisdom contained in the Torah that the soul grasps and encompasses. So that's the advantage of learning and thoroughly understanding Torah. Through the knowledge of Torah, the Torah is absorbed in the soul and in the intellect of the person and is encompassed within them. Therefore, the Torah is called bread and food of the soul. Just like physical bread nourishes the body when you eat it, when you eat it, then it becomes absorbed within the person. It transforms into blood and flesh of the person. By the way, that's why we have to be very, very careful what we eat. If a person eats something that's not kosher, God forbid, it becomes a part of you. Maybe some part of it goes out, but it becomes part of your blood. And then the person is sustained. He's able to live when he eats. He needs to eat in order to have the energy to live. So too, when a person learns Torah and he comprehends the Torah, his soul becomes nourished. Shenispeses b'sichlei miachedes imoy hoyu lachadim asamazal nefesh, to the point where the Torah is grasped in his mind and joined with him, that they become one. The Torah is like the soul food. The bread is like the physical food, and the Torah is like the soul food that gives him the energy. It becomes the inner life for the person, and it comes obviously from Hashem, the light of Hashem, who is clothed in the wisdom and will of the Torah. This is the meaning of the pasuk. Your Torah is in my inner parts, meaning that the Torah is food for the soul. Excuse me, whoa. Thanks for that. It's written in Eitz Chaim that these mitzvahs are the garments of the soul in in Gan Eden. V'hatayra hi hamazayin l'neshamayis sha'asku ba'olam hazeh she'b'tayra l'shma k'mei she'kasav b'zohar v'yakel daf reish yud. The Torah, on the other hand, is food of the soul. So let's back up. Mitzvahs are the garments of the soul, and Torah is food of the soul. The meaning of learning Torah for its own sake is the study of Torah with the intent of binding one's soul to Hashem by comprehending the Torah. So we learn the Torah for the sake of Hashem, we're literally binding our souls to God. Ish kivi zichlei, everyone according to his abilities and capacity. As we learned in Pri Eitz Chaim, the Holy Kabbalah. So the question is, if Torah mitzvahs each have their own unique quality, why is studying Torah superior over the other mitzvahs? So I'm going to explain. Food refers to the level of indwelling light. It becomes a part of you, inside of you. And doing the mitzvahs is the garments, refers to the level of encompassing light. They're both important. But obviously something that goes within and becomes a part of you seems to be on a higher level. Our sages have said, because of this, Torah is now equal to all the other mitzvahs combined. Mitzvahs are garments. Torah is food and also the garment for the intellectual soul, because it's also a mitzvah. Torah serves as a garment because one clothes himself within it by his soul's concentration on the Torah and the study of it. And how much more so if he actually says the words. Where the breath of speech becomes also a kind of encompassing light. So you have both. It becomes ingested in the person, and when you say it, it becomes an encompassing light. So it's the Or Pnimi, the light of Hashem, which goes inside of you, and the Or Makif, the light which surrounds you. The takeaway is you can only understand Torah based on your capacity and capability. Obviously, everybody on his own level. However, regardless of your capability, when you learn, in order to connect your neshama with Hashem, the Torah becomes the nourishment that sustains your soul. Just like shalom, just like you eat bread or food, and it gives you nourishment and energy to eat, so too when you study Torah, it gives your neshama nourishment in order to thrive. Anyway, everyone have a wonderful day and happy Hanukkah.